Well, there is somebody who knows how to tell the truth, and he is speaking right now. He is the former governor of the state of Minnesota, and is probably the best thing that could possibly happen to RFK's third-party run right now. Let's queue up. I believe Jesse Ventura is on the stage.
Please excuse me, because I left office in '03, and I have not worn a tie or suit since. So I'm out here now in Arizona, and I didn't bring a tie or a suit with me, because I heard in Arizona you don't need it. You wear blue jeans and golf shirts and T-shirts.
Whoever's messing with that.
So I fit in pretty good now as a Minnesotan who's now transplanted to Arizona. But anyway, I'm here in support of Robert F. Kennedy's bid for president of the United States.
That's pretty big.
I support this because I have been a person of the third party my entire political career and my entire adult lifetime. I go way back. I voted for John Anderson back in 1980, for those of you that are old enough to remember that.
I am.
So I have been a third party person my entire life. I support the third party movement. Ralph Nader had it best when he called it the two-party dictatorship, because that's what it is. And you're seeing right now, the very reason we need to elect somebody other than Democrats or Republicans. And that reason is this. You're seeing it right now with this border bill, where they put their party before the country. Bear that in mind. Democrats and Republicans always put their party first, then it's their money bag donors that give them the money. And let's see, we the people, we could end up about 4th or 5th on the list. But rest assured, it's their party first, not the country. And you're seeing that right now. They could pass this bill, but they're not doing it. Why? Because of party politics and election coming this fall. So let everybody suffer while they put their parties first. Well, that's why we need to elect independents. I won the election in Minnesota. I took on the Democrats and Republicans. And I was talking with Bobby earlier, and I think I amazed him a little bit when I told him I only raised $300,000 to become the governor of Minnesota. I can tell you this. I made more money doing the job than what I spent to get it. There isn't an elected official in the last 100 years to a major office who can say that. I made more money doing the job
You spent to get it.
than I did spent to get it.
That's pretty cool.
And that's what you're looking at today. You talk about wasteful spending. How about the wasteful spending on these political parties? And the money that just goes down, for lack of a better term, down the toilet with this fundraising and all that stuff. I don't need that. And Bobby doesn't need it either. Bobby will make it on ideas. That's what I ran on in Minnesota, ideas. And the people responded. The voter turnout rose and went sky high in Minnesota. Bobby can do the same thing nationally. He can, if all we need is for people to believe.
What do you think?
And I'm your example.
No, it can't possibly.
I beat the Democrats and Republicans at the same time. They can be beaten. They can be beaten. And how you beat them is with ideas. How you beat them is with people responding to those ideas.
Money, unfortunately.
And how you beat them is by putting America first.
Oh.
The United States first, not yourself. This isn't about yourself, and this isn't about your political party. It's about our country. And right now, our country needs Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Okay.
and all third-party candidates. I believe it was John Adams warned us. He said, when political parties take over the government, say goodbye to the government that you know. Well, he warned us, and we're on the brink right now, because these two dysfunctional parties that are running this country, they've been doing it now for, 50 years or more, and with the same results. And they don't have you in mind. They got themselves in mind. So we need to elect people who truly understand what public service is about. And when you talk, I'll say this to you, and I'll finish with this. Imagine the world we would live in today if the two Kennedys would have lived.
Could have been a world.
Okay.
There would have been no Vietnam. There would have been no Cold War. We'd be friends with Cuba. This world would be, you wouldn't recognize it today. And so I always say Jack Kennedy was the greatest president of all in my lifetime. And the reason I say that is because they let him serve the least amount. He didn't even get one term. That's why he's the best, because they wouldn't let him go past not even one term. Well, maybe it's time to elect another Kennedy. And so on that note, please let me introduce to you a friend of mine, and I'll go back the many 20 years ago when they came to me and Robert's son Connor had a dream.
Okay.
And I had a chance to fulfill his dream. And his dream was a simple one. He wanted to go scuba diving or diving with an authentic Navy frogman. Well, I provided the authentic Navy frogman, and Connor and I had a great day diving down in Cabo San Lucas.
So I think that's a big deal. And we are.
You didn't want to hear how the Mexico diving trip ended up?
No. I think, you know what, when we had the last time we had
It's
Jesse
Jen's
on,
show, and she'll do what she wants. So I
Yes.
just got to play along.
No, yeah, that's how this
I'm
works.
just kidding.
But I mean, the last time we had him on, we very much had talked about his thoughts, and he was already in the process of speaking with RFK, and I had a feeling that this would sort of head in that direction, if for no other reason his complete and utter disdain for both parties,
Right.
which he's always been very clear about. But I actually am a really big fan of Jesse, so I kind of like him. But
So much.
the biggest issue I have right now with RFK is he's putting Israel first.
Right.
And they all are at this point. And that's what's scary to me. Like the Israel issue, I don't see how this can work.
Well, the only thing that matters as far as I'm concerned is if he has Ventura in his corner, whether as a VP or whatever that would look like, he is the one voice who I think Bobby would have no choice but to respect. And, when Ventura came on the show, he came on right after October 7th. And he said, ceasefire now at that moment.
Right.
And to me, that says a lot about where his head's at and how he views these things. I know you Marines really hate the other service members who are not Marines, but I think for a Navy
They don't hate them.
for a Navy frogman, I think he definitely turned out okay. No, there is a pecking order. There's no question.
Look,
Marines go to the front line.
Please, you've made the mistake of calling Marine a soldier before, and I had to say that's
Ooh, I didn't
Yeah.
realize that's a big deal.
that is the deal. That would be the whole concept, is they're Marines. That's the whole point. And I dated an ROTC in my freshman year in college for a while. And so I learned a few things.
I've known Governor Ventura for at least 10 years now. He's always been great to work with and talk with and be interviewed by. I'm disappointed he's endorsing RFK because of the genocide that's occurring. I mean, I think that's certainly something that should be a disqualifier. And knowing what the governor has stood for these last many decades, like, I'm really surprised that wasn't a disqualifier for him. But certainly, I think you're absolutely right about how if there's one person that RFK should listen to, it's Jesse Ventura. I mean, I think not just his experience and what he did, but as I've listened to him, particularly over the last several years, as he's discussed independent politics, I think he understands it in a way better than most everyone else. And so watching that is interesting, in a sense of who else does RFK Jr. have lined up to endorse him, to introduce him. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how they have that, because I think one of the issues with anyone running outside of the two parties is name recognition. Name recognition is totally it. I mean, because the money is one thing, but if you don't have name recognition, it just gets back to, you're back to your basic aspects of basic fundamentals of advertising. Like, how many times does a person have to hear something to remember it, right? Like that type of, right?
Kennedy doesn't have that problem. He does not have that problem.
No. I mean, and I think that's something that would make, say, a no labels candidate less viable. And we've got to we'll wait and see what they're doing. But I mean, certainly as disgusted as I am by RFK Jr.'s position on Israel and Palestine, I am happy to see him running, and I do want to see more candidates. And so even if you had a no labels ticket of Joe Manchin and Liz Cheney, or God help us, Liz Cheney and Joe Lieberman, I'm not sure what the word.
Wait, is Joe Lieberman still alive?
He is, and his name, along with Larry Hogan, is one of the four I keep seeing for being on the no labels ticket. So
Lieberman is like, he's got to be older than Biden.
It doesn't matter that he's older. It matters that they are so disconnected from reality that they think that the country wants any part of this. It was no different when they were trying to do that unity ticket with the governor of Ohio, whose name is slipping me right now. The guy who
Pritzker, JD Pritzker, right?
No, that's Illinois.
Ohio.
The guy who the guy who ran in 2016. Is it John?
They're all the same to me.
The point is that they were talking.
Same.
Let's have a unity ticket with this. And I'm thinking,
no one knows this guy. No one cares about this.
Does anybody take a step outside the Beltway? I mean, they really have like this ability to just completely insulate.
They have the money behind them, and they have the money. And I think, we saw the results come out of South Carolina this weekend for that Democratic primary, which was a joke, of course.
But it was a primary.
And it was like turnout was like 4%.
Yes.
And I think they were very happy with that. They were
bragging.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? They were. It was Joe Biden in a landslide. Right. They were on that. Like, it was hilarious to be 4% turn. You're talking about South Carolina, right?
Yeah.
And he got Matthew, he got less votes there than I got running in this district for Congress.
Right? I mean, so, I think there's a now that's going to be catastrophic to them, because that's going to be reflected in general election turnout.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not smart enough to see that, or they're just too whatever to see that. But I think on a broader level, like on a bigger level, they are, long-term happy to see lower turnout. Right. If it was up to them, it was up to the two parties, and kind of getting to what Jesse was talking about. In order to vote, you have to show a cable bill that shows you subscribe to MSNBC, you subscribe to Fox. That's all they want to have coming out. That's all they want to talk to. That's all they care about. And if they can push everybody else out, which is why having independent candidates, even if it is someone who is as a Kennedy, but certainly Wes Stein, who we'll see who the Libertarians put forward, that is whatever we can do to keep people involved, to keep people from falling out, from saying, it's not that they're apathetic, it's not that they're lazy, but they just realize that these elections don't concern me. Whatever comes from this is not. It's gonna. They know what it's going to concern, and they know it has to do with whether or not like a living wage will ever be introduced, or whether or not they'll ever have health care. But they just feel that they're so disconnected from the process. The process is so corrupt. It's all so crooked that it's just a waste of their time to be involved in it.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.